a few people down from me, was just so enamoured with hating me because he fancies George Williams so strongly and didn't interpret my thing as a quick burst of frustration that I realised quite quickly I was not giving him the credit he deserved, and maybe should have been more patient with the kid who everyone listening knows how much I adore, but every time he did something good, I got like this applause towards me, like, go on George, you're amazing, like I fucking hate the guy. Everyone who knows this knows how much I, have a crush on the kid. And then every time he did something bad, he'd turn around and say, you can have Graham now, can't you? Can't go now, can't you? And I was like, the guy, I wanted to punch him, Tom, honestly, he wound me up so much because he couldn't accept that I just momentarily got frustrated.
Right.
And I tried to explain to him, do you never get like frustrated with your missus or something, even though you love them?
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. You're never wrong with something, and it happens.
Yeah.
And I it was a momentary burst, and it just wound me so fucking much up with this kid that honestly really did my head in.
I wish I'd been there to see it. That'd have been amazing. I can see it. Anyway,
that's
the first spleen venting.
That's that outburst. But George Williams did make a few panicky plays and a few possible, but I think that wasn't him. That was the whole team's attitude. I'm on board with what Andy Barden said about a lot of panic plays from Wigan, particularly in the last 20 minutes. There was no sense of organisation to what we were doing. We were trying offloads that were never on. We were not building pressure. We were putting kicks in that weren't on. We didn't take any advantage of the 10 minutes after half time. When Mummy's favourite little eater was off the pitch, panic plays from Wigan cost us a lot in this. I haven't watched the no try back. I'll accept that the officials were closer than me, and the video ref got a long slow look at it. I'm guessing they had a slow replay of it because double movements are always looked at that way when they shouldn't be, but I don't think it would have influenced. I think Leeds would have found something to win the game with because they were better than us on the night.
Yeah,
Ablett was fantastic. He was all over the place. Now I've seen screen grabs of the alleged gouging incident, and just like the one with Danny Brough the week before, I'm not certain whether there was a gouge or not. It was Ablett doing what he does, being a nasty little fucker, putting his hands in people's faces and getting them wound up, and it worked.
Yeah.
And on top of that nasty, niggly stuff that he's always done his entire career, and he's very, very lucky that he's not had serious bans for gouging in the past. But I don't know about these last 2 weeks incidents. I didn't see them enough now. I saw very close to an incident at Headingley about 6 or 7 years ago where he had a go at Tompkins, got right in the eye, and he should have been fucking banned for that. And that was where his reputation amongst Wigan fans probably comes from.
Yeah.
But since then, he just does what he does, and he's getting me wound up thinking about the niggly little bastard. But he did so well in the rest of the game, He got quick play of the balls, he got involved in attack, and it was probably his best game for a couple of years, or 18 months or so, as well. Last year, I didn't see him play well all year. This year, he had a good 20 minutes or so against Lee, and that's about it that I've seen. But yeah, he was good in support play, he was good in instigating stuff, he was good at winding Wigan up, he won those battles that he wins when we were frustrated, and he got himself in the right positions as well defensively, which he hadn't been doing for the last year or so. So got to credit him on his performance, if not for liking the way he goes about stuff. But every team has one. John Bateman does the same sort of stuff.
Exactly. He's
Michael McLaurin does the same sort of stuff. Terry Newton used to always do the same sort of stuff. We've all had them. Barry McDermott used to do it.
That's it.
Stuart Fielding used to do it at Bradford. And
he's that player you have in your team that everyone else hates and you love having because he's your boy and he's that bit of biff and that bit of grunt and that's part of it.
I can't take away from the good parts of his performance.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
The good doesn't
and even the grubby parts, even the grubby stuff was significant in the way he got away with it and did it. But the Ferris stuff.
On to grubby stuff.
What do you want to talk about the game at all before we talk about Ferris?
Only in terms of, we've covered a good deal of it. I agree with you. I think Leeds were value for the win. I'd love to see these two teams going head to head with each other later in the season and see what happens if we can have some of their, a bit less.
Yeah, because Leeds were full strength.
A bit less patched up, and I think you get an even better game.
Other than Stevie Ward, that was the only miss, wasn't it?
I think the no try was correct. I think that was the correct call. I feel like when I first saw it, I thought he promoted the ball a second time, so I felt like it was okay for me as a no try. But so that basically covers everything. And yes, of course, Carl Ablett. What a great young player he's got a long career ahead of him, hopefully.
George Williams' first try was amazing.
George Williams is an exceptional player, and I fully anticipate to see him playing either as a marquee player for you or down under.
He'll do better for England when he gets actually given a chance. There's things he needs to work on, like the talking and that sort of stuff.
Thing I'm excited about with
Callum
him.
Watkins, it's the errors, isn't it? Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, I agree. Cal Watkins, once he fixes up, that's the thing with Callum Watkins. You get the errors out of the game, and you get a performance like this.
All
and
the tools.
He's in the world, but he's got all the tools in his box that he needs to be an England centre for. Certainly in the next World Cup, and probably the one beyond that. George Williams. What excites me at the minute is that Gale and Williams are going so well, because they would be my starting halves if I had to pick the England squad at the minute, and that's exciting from my point of view.
Yeah.
But that's for 8-9 months down the road.
Well, Widdock's going great guns as well down under, to be honest.
He is. I just think I don't know. It'll be weird probably, but anyway.
Gale and Williams are more dynamic in attack, and let's hope Williams sorts his talking out.
But I don't think he needs to talk as much, because
Gale
will do the talking and the organising and the infield kicking, and Williams will be the dynamic one out of the two of them. I think that's what I like about them. That's how well they shoehorn it. That's how well they dovetail together. I'll talk about the crush tackle first, and then I'll let you do it. I think that's probably the best way to go, because I'm sure you've got more to say on it than I have in some respects. I'm really happy that Oliver Gildat isn't. I know he's out for a period of time,
up to 3 months, seriously injured. Yeah,
but he's not. It could have been much worse than that. So that's what I'm glad of. And it was a crusher tackle, and Brett Ferris deserves a ban. What I think there is some mitigating circumstances around it, okay? If you watch the replay back, from my point of view, don't whisper bullshit, just let me talk. If you watch the replay back from my point of view, as Brett Ferris is over Gildat and looking to pick him up, he's looking to turn on his left hip and bring him down to ground that way. What I feel happens is that the momentum of Brett Delaney over the back of Brett Ferris forces the pair of them back over, and the crusher tackle happens. Now, Brett Ferris has a duty of care to his fellow professional to take better care of him in the tackle, and I think he's guilty of that. But I don't think he's guilty of literally just wanting to solo pick him up and crush tackle him down. So he should get a ban. He will get a ban. I don't think he's going to get the 8 games that everybody's crying for. I think he's going to get somewhere between the 4 and the 6. Is my opinion.
Fully expect that. I've not researched his disciplinary record, but I can't think of him having any big bans in the last year or in the last 2 years.
No.
He had one didn't he? A dangerous contact one on that was Rangy Chase on him, weren't it?
Yeah, he's not a dirty
anyway.
player. He practices the dark arts, but that's me trying to be as level-headed and
I don't think you can mitigate it.
Even-keeled about it. He's going to get a ban, and he thoroughly fucking deserves a ban, because he should be taking better care. But I'm not necessarily certain it was the calculated attack that it's being portrayed as. It
wasn't premeditated, but he'd absolutely blown a fuse. I'll give you the whole genesis of the incident if you want, but he'd blown a fuse, right? And people have said he was like Gildat was trying to gain extra yards. Gildat had put his hand down.
I don't blame any blame at Gildat
to get into position to play the ball, and as he's put his hand down to do that, Ferris has deliberately picked him up and slammed him back down with no thought of attention of making sure his head has space to come out of that tackle. Not only has he done that, when he's pushed him down, he's then reached over, grabbed Gildart's legs and squeezed those up, Tom.
He's squeezing legs.
Yeah, watch it again. After the head sort of managed to rock through Ferris's legs,
right,
as that's all happening, but he's made sure he's squeezed him as well, Tom, right? Brett Delaney from behind has every right to expect that Ferris had done what most professional players should do and have some moment of thought in that length of time that they had. Okay, it wasn't slow, but it was slow enough, as most tackles are, to make sure the player's head is not going to get compacted.
Right. I wasn't saying Brett Delaney was complicit in that.
No, but I think Brett Delaney's cue to go in was when Ferris started to go forward. So I think Ferris has instigated that. I don't think he was trying to put him on the side or whatever, like you say, because he wants him to not be on his front to play the ball. That's why he's picked him up when Gildart's tried to put his hand down to then give himself space to get into a play the ball position, in my view. That's my view of it. I know Leeds fans will have a different view of it. In answer to Rich, I don't think he's the first person to be sin-binned for a crusher tackle, and I also think the rules around dangerous contact that is picked up by an official and I'm not sure which official made the call, but by an official, is a sin binning automatic. If you give a penalty for a dangerous contact, so that's a chicken wing or an ankle twist or a crusher, it's a sin binning this year. That's a way they change the rules, because you can't always assess the full circumstances of it at the time. No. But it's a dangerous thing that could seriously hamper a player's season, if not career, or life. So, and I know that sounds like I'm going over the top, but if you...
No, I agree with you. It can kill someone. It can put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Specialists for his back, neurological specialists, all that sort of stuff to understand the scope of this injury. Tony Clubb was out last year for for more than half the season because of a similar tackle that wasn't even punished at all. And I don't think that one was as pronounced as this one. But the genesis of the incident, Willie Isa went up to Ashton Goulding to grab the ball off him, right, on the no try that was ruled out for Tom Briscoe clearing the path, was it? Yes. Or someone giving a shove up, that sort of thing. Anyway, Willie Isa shouldn't have done that. Willie Isa shouldn't have been getting involved. He should have waited till the call was gone back, the referee confirmed it was a penalty and the ball was thrown over. He had no reason being there, but he didn't do anything violent or aggressive or that sort of stuff. But that's where it all came from. Willie Isa had the first carry after the penalty. Brett Ferris comes fucking flying at him, right? Arms all up like this, which no one can see listening, but flies in and is borderline on hitting him in the head anyway, on Willie Isa, right? He rolls round to marker, still fuming at the whole kick-off around the Ashton Goulding ball incident, right? And flies into the back of that tackle, again, quite arm swinging, it comes across the chest, but it's he's flying in, Tom, and then he gets into that position and he picks him up and he crushes him, he squeezes him. Tom, it was not premeditated, deliberate, but it was reckless, totally letting himself get carried away by the emotions of the little flare up, and carrying that through to that conclusion, which has been very detrimental to Oliver Gildart's position in that game. That's how I saw it.
Fine. That's fine.
So I think a gradie is a suitable grade.
I agree. Look, I agree with the grading. I agree with the fact that he should get a ban. I think it's irresponsible. I was offering my view on it, which is slightly tempered by the fact I'm not as involved in it. But I take everything you say on board. I will need to go back and see the squeezing of the legs, because to be honest, his
left hand's under Gildart's left leg.
Once Gildart's head comes out, I kind of stopped not paying attention to it, but what I was looking at was that first kind of in the lead up to the first 2/3 of the tackle itself. So I'll have my I need to go back and look at it just to see if I...
I'm not saying he's wanting to seriously injure someone, but he's wanting to hurt a Wigan player. He's wanting to hurt a Wigan player at that instant.
And he's going to miss a big chunk. He's going to miss nearly a quarter of the season over it. Or nearly a quarter of the early season, I would say.
Yes, what are you going to say, 6 games?
He'll get between 4 and 6. He's not getting the full 8.
And I don't think it's a false outrage situation. And you know how much we love Rich Wilkinson. He's an absolute legend to us, and we respect his opinions massively. And very rarely do we come down very differently on something. But on this, I do come down.
I've read the transcripts.
I do have to come down differently on him, and I think.
Oh, look, sports tribal. There'll be times where we just do disagree with each other based on our allegiances, which is fine.
And it won't affect our relationship.
Of course it wouldn't. I know the other thing I would say on Richie's behalf is that I know for a fact he wouldn't ever dream of seeing any rugby league player permanently injured in that sense. And
those extra things that I'm attributing to him but might not be him were funny, and he always has a good thing to say about stuff. But obviously his comments was the most
going to disagree.
Was the most supportive of the most supportive of Ferris and critical of the reaction to it.
But that's the thing. You're both passionate and knowledgeable rugby league fans who support the two teams that were involved in this instance. So it's hardly surprising to me that you've come down on.
I just don't.
I feel like I skirt the middle ground.
Does have a season to recover from, because he's by the end of this year.
I really rate the kid
because he started so well the first 4 weeks.
Look, he was England conversation for me based on some of his.
If it wasn't for Alvin Percival was playing.
Well, exactly. Well, maybe it wasn't the longest conversation ever, but he was having a very good start to the year. So the thing I take from this is I wish him a speedy and full recovery, because he's a young man, and you would hate to see, regardless of sporting allegiances, a young man cut down his prime.
And I don't think
more
Brett
seriously
goes out there to hurt people, and I don't actually think he's a massive cheap shot merchant at all.
I don't think he's a particularly grubby player.
Ablett's niggly, but we all know that, and we've all covered that so well. I don't. Yeah, Ferris. I think occasionally